I have several different projects and things to work on today. I'm making up several jars of potpourri. This is something that I love to do during the holiday season. They are so easy to make and they're so beautiful. They make really great gifts or stocking stuffers. I know it's a little early to be thinking about that already, but I am a person that loves to do a lot of DIY gifts. And so if you like to make some of your own gifts like I do, you can never be too early in thinking about that. So for these, I am doing some dried oranges that I made, some cinnamon sticks, pine cones, and then I have some dried flowers that I like to put some essential oils on just to make these even more fragrant. And the idea is that you gift this little mason jar and then they can just pour the contents of this into a pot of water and let it simmer on the stove to get all the beautiful scents of fall or Christmas, depending on what way you're going with this. I love having a simmering potpourri on my stove during this time of year. It just makes the whole house smell so good. I love that cinnamon orange smell. It definitely reminds me of this time of year. I still have quite a few apples left from all of our apple orchard visits and apple picking this year. And so I am making a sourdough apple pie. I guess this isn't technically an apple pie. This is something that I used to make all the time and I haven't made it in a while, but you basically make an apple pie filling and then you top it with a sourdough topping and bake it. It's really delicious and I'm using all really great ingredients. So this is really good for a dessert if you serve it with maybe a scoop of ice cream or whipped cream, or you can even use it for a breakfast. Now today I am making it for a snack for my kiddos. For the apple pie filling, I'm using 8 apples, 3 tablespoons of butter, and then I'm using some cinnamon and nutmeg, and then I will also add in a half of a cup of maple syrup and a little bit of flour to thicken it. And while that is simmering on the stove, I am making the topping with a cup and a half of sourdough starter, a few eggs, some more maple syrup, and then baking powder and coconut oil. And you just mix that together and pour it on top. And like I said, you can bake this and it's a really tasty snack or dessert. So excited to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Skillshare. I have heard so many great things and testimonies about Skillshare that I could not wait to dive in and learn how great it was for myself. If you have never heard of Skillshare, Skillshare is the largest learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and so much more. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobby, passion, or even your side hustle to the next level. They truly have something for everybody. If you guys remember a few videos back, I did my first ever sewing project. I had such a hard time with that, but it was really fun making my own skirt, and so I immediately jumped into a beginner's basic sewing class so I could really dive into learning how to sew better. The class that I am currently watching and enjoying is a sewing basics class where you can learn to make your own clothing. She teaches you the basics of even preparing your workspace, to the essentials of learning how to sew straight lines and corners, to seam styles, and even to the finishes you need. I'm so excited to keep learning so I can catch up with my daughter and start making more of my own clothing. Other classes I know you guys would be so interested in is they have an entire series on sourdough, from making your own starter to learning how to make bread and burritos and wraps and noodles. They have so many different teachers and recipes. I'm really excited to dive into some of those. And if you're not into baking and fermenting and sewing, they have classes on how to teach you how to use Lightroom and Canva and how to edit photos and videos. Truly, they have something for everyone. So if you are ready to try out Skillshare, you guys can use the link down in my description box below. The first 500 people to click on that link will receive 1 month of Skillshare for free. So you have nothing to lose. You guys can try it out for free, but that's only for the first 500 people. So be sure to act fast and check out that link down in my description box below. I am starting to take all of my vases that we use for fresh flowers over all the summer and replacing it with different dried herbs and flowers and grasses and things to make the home a little bit more in season. And also because, you know, we obviously don't have all of our flowers in our cut garden anymore. Those are all gone. And so now it's time to put in the different things that we dried to make beautiful arrangements. Anytime the season changes, it always gives me the bug to redecorate and to do a little deep cleaning and just really reevaluate different systems and things that I have in my home. Whether your home is big or small, old or new, filled with lots of little ones, or if you live alone, systems really can help you make the day-to-day task of keeping things clean and tidy and organized a lot more manageable. Making simple systems can really help you create new habits that eventually become second nature, and you don't even have to think about it. This can really help to save time and energy every single day if you have systems set up in your home to make it run more smoothly. It is a beautiful day today, and so I'm working out in my sunroom. All of my cushions out here could really use a good cleaning, so I'm gonna be making a homemade stain remover to scrub these down with and then get them into the washing machine and then hanging out into the sun to get some of these stains out. One system that I have found to make a lot of sense for me and probably most people is having a manageable, non-overcomplicated laundry routine. I talked to a lot of different mom friends and my sisters about this, but I do feel like it's very easy to overcomplicate things that can actually be very simple. And for me, that is in the laundry room. I don't have this big, elaborate laundry system. I just keep laundry going at all times. So obviously in a bigger family, laundry can really pile up. So instead of letting that happen, I just do a load of laundry a day. And my biggest tip is once the clothes or sheets or whatever it is are washed and dried, to fold them and get them put back away. Anytime we don't do that, I feel like things are already getting back into the dirty clothes that weren't dirty. They're getting back unorganized. People are getting the wrong socks in the wrong places. And so kind of keeping up with it and just doing a little bit each day and then putting it away right away is a system that works in our house. Now, another thing that I do to really help with our laundry is just being extremely minimal with all of our clothing. So I have lots of boys, and so this might be easier for me because the boys really don't care too much about clothes, but just having the amount that they need, especially for little ones, if you have babies or toddlers, just having a small amount of clothes. I find that I end up picking out the same clothes to kind of put them in over and over again anyway. So it just makes sense to have less. So I'm not constantly reorganizing drawers and things don't fit in. It just makes sense to have less. And that has worked really well for us and for our laundry routine. Earlier I told you guys I was making a homemade spray for cleaning off my couch cushions. That recipe is over on my blog. It works so well. It's just some vinegar, some salsa, some essential oil. That works great for upholstery. And so I'll link that for you guys down below if you guys are looking for a natural, easy, cheap way to clean stains off of your furniture. All right, so now I am in the kitchen again. I am making some pumpkin nachos. This is a meal that I love to make every fall. I end up making this. It's so good. I start off by roasting some pumpkin and then just make normal nachos, but I just top it with some roasted pumpkin. So while I'm in the kitchen, I want to talk about my simple system for meal planning. I know that that can be another huge thing that can be over complicated, and really it can be so simple. I used to try to do a full-blown menu plan and sit down at the beginning of the week and plan it out, and I got all these recipes off of Pinterest or searching up these elaborate meals to make. And for one, nothing has to be elaborate, just getting food on the table, feeding your family is, the only main goal here. But then also having a more loose meal plan has really helped me. So instead of having particular meals on each day, instead I just like to have a fully stocked kitchen with all of the essentials. So obviously it could be different from family to family, but for our family, I know the things that I need to have on hand to whip up a quick meal. And so like this meal here with these pumpkin nachos, I didn't have to go to the store and buy all these certain things for this one meal. This is just stuff that we have on hand because we like to do tacos, nachos, some type of meal like this almost every single week. Having a stocked pantry, having the right spices that you need, keeping a running list whenever you run out of these staples and then grabbing them when you're at the store can be a really easy way to meal plan. If you have the right ingredients in your home, it makes it very easy to whip up a meal. Another huge tip that I have and something I've been doing for over a decade is at the beginning of the week, I set out meat, and as long as I have defrosted meat in my refrigerator, I know that I could come up with a meal. And so that is the extent of my meal planning, having defrosted meat in my refrigerator and having all of the staple items I know I need for most meals in my refrigerator and pantry. It makes it really easy to come up with different meals to feed my family. My last tip for running a smoother home is just getting rid of stuff, decluttering, having a system for decluttering. So for me, that is having a couple different bins in my car. Now, my current car that I have has a very, very small trunk because we have more kids, the seats are up, and so we have a really small trunk. But in my last vehicle, I actually kept these bins in my car. Now they just sit in my garage. But always having a bin of things that you are either returning to people that got left maybe at your house, or something that you borrowed, or if you have something that you know a particular person might like and you don't want it anymore. And then also having a bin of stuff that I can donate. So this is just for me a couple of milk crates that I have sitting out that are constantly full of things to donate or get rid of, because things are constantly coming in my home and I can easily get overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that we have, and I really find that stuff can just cause stress. So I try to reevaluate my home as often as I can. So anytime the seasons are changing, I find myself getting into another time of decluttering and just kind of going through the different areas of my home. I consider myself pretty minimal, but it's crazy the amount of things that you find when you start really digging into closets and in your storage room or certain places that you don't think to look, and you see and you're like, wow, that is something I have not used in X amount of years or months or whatever it is, and it no longer is serving a purpose in my home. So it's time to donate it or give it to someone where it will be used. And so decluttering and having less is such a great way to simplify your home and make it run more smoothly. I am spending another afternoon out here in my sunroom. I am adding a few fall touches to this room. This room is so beautiful this time of year as the trees are changing, and we just love spending time out here. So I'm glad that I was able to get it all cleaned up and beautiful, because we will definitely enjoy this space all the way until winter when it gets too cold to sit out here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it gave you guys some inspiration and maybe some good tips to help simplify and make systems in your home to make it run a little more smoothly.